Amidst another summer of change, Chelsea's American roadshow ends in North Carolina. On the evidence of pre-season, the Blues under Enzo Maresca will be essential viewing. We're learning about the new coach, he and his players are learning about one another. Answers are coming all the time, but plenty of questions remain with the latest campaign less than 2 weeks away. Man City will be at the Bridge a couple of Sundays from now. Tonight it is game 5 of the 6-match warm-up schedule, and having faced the champions of Scotland, Mexico and England, and with the champions of Italy coming to London next, Summer 24 in the States concludes here with the mightiest champions of all, the current kings of Spain and Europe, Real Madrid. We have reunions left, right and centre, the wisest of all old bosses and the freshest of new ones. There is glitz and there is glamour, and there will surely be goals, lots of them, more than likely at both ends. That has been the way of things so far. Plenty scored for the new look Chelsea, and plenty conceded. Risk and reward football now to find the balance. As for the team news, well, both clubs still missing plenty, but for Real Madrid, 2 young hotshots drop out tonight, Arda Güler and Endrick, and 2 pretty tidy replacements come in, Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. Luka Modric, 39, still holding it all together in the middle, and it's hello again to Thibaut Courtois and Toni Rüdiger. New Chelsea keeper Philip Jorgensen starts again for the first time tonight. We've got 2 left footers in central defence and 2 wingers in from the start. Sterling and Madueke, it was none last time out, with Nkunku and Enzo as the 2 number 10s in support of the returning Guiu. You'd kind of call it a 4-1-4-1, but we can generally expect a fullback to join Lavia in central midfield. Well, we've had some pretty stark clues as to what Chelsea under Enzo Maresca will be looking like. High line, Sam Parkin, bold principles, possession based, that risk, that reward. This will be a good test tonight.
Yeah, they keep coming, don't they? As tough as it gets this evening. I suppose looking at the lineup, the Chelsea players that have really impressed during pre-season, they're out there from the off in this game. I'm talking about Madueke and Nkunku certainly. Sterling showed glimpses, Lavia in midfield, starting to show exactly what he's going to be about in a Chelsea shirt. So from that perspective, really excited about this, albeit it's against the best side in Europe. Always going to be a tough test, but hopefully it's going to be a step in the right direction after a disappointing evening against City the other night.
Well, in terms of bare numbers, so far the tale is pretty similar to last season. The Blues have been scoring a couple of goals per game on average without problem, but it's often not enough to win a game. It does feel familiar, even if some of the faces aren't, but they certainly are in that Real lineup. Amazing club, obviously. The perfect combination, I always think, Sam, Real Madrid, that you can have in life, never mind in football. They're good and they're lucky. I don't think it gets any better than that, and there's a new goalkeeper there and an old goalkeeper there who we're looking forward to seeing tonight. But again, last season they were well on top in La Liga, weren't they, Sam? And were they the best team in Europe? Again, probably not. They still won it again. 15 times Champions League winners, Real Madrid. And a great test for the Blues as America comes to an end for another summer. Real Madrid, right here and right now, are earlier in their prep than Chelsea. We should say that. We hope that might count for something. They've played twice and lost both, to Milan and Chicago, and to their great friends Barcelona in New Jersey last time out. Those are the only 2 games they've played. The Chelsea boys here have got this, and Inter on Sunday at the Bridge. And then we play for points. Reece James with an early ball for Noni Madueke. Definitely, as Sam said, one of those to catch the eye so far. in this pre-season schedule. You would think he's one of, well, we were saying, Sam, maybe 7 of this 11 that you'd say will be starting game 1, all being well. Noni Madueke, you'd think, will be nailed on for one of those spots.
Yeah, and he's continued in the same vein of form that he showed at the back end of last season. I felt even when he was coming on as a substitute, he was continually impacting games, having a really good effect. Difficult when you come on at any level to pick up the speed of the game and have an impact, but he was certainly doing that. I remember him winning a few important penalties, scoring, assisting. So yeah, he's taken that form on into the new season, and probably helped not having, you know, that international football to be concerned about. And there's a number of the Chelsea players that have come back early, hopefully refreshed, and yes, a new manager, a new coaching team, but continuing that consistency that started to come towards the tail end of the campaign.
Enzo Fernandez, who missed the tail end, getting his challenge in there. It was a good one. Here's Nkunku. I feel you've already seen more of him than you did last season, just in this pre-season schedule. Madueke, that familiar cut inside, up against Fran Garcia tonight, the left back, and he's got past him and all the way to Raheem Sterling. Those two combined really well the other day for a super goal. Chelsea scored 2 cracking goals. In fact, they were the 2 scorers of them, but unfortunately City had scored 4 first. But we're intrigued, Sam, that we've got 2 wingers starting tonight when none did in the Manchester City match.
Yeah, it was a slightly different setup, wasn't it? You had kind of Gusto and Mudryk as nominal wing backs for that game, and kind of got ripped up, didn't it, at half time.
Pace required from the former of those there, Malo Gusto. Well done, and he drew the challenge.
Yeah, certainly the introduction of Sterling and Madueke had a good effect, and Nkunku dropped a little bit deeper as well and played where he started tonight as an advanced midfield player. And I think he just gives Chelsea so much as a link man, and of course why I'm conflicted is because he's such a good finisher, and we know 1 and 2 touch he's going to find the corners, he's going to get an abundance of goals.
Lavia just about getting away with that, and you don't need me to tell you just how many goals we have conceded during the course of this pre-season through moments just like that, including very early. Celtic was pretty early, Man City twice in both halves early. Sterling, that's better, but when you play out you can get this. Here's Noni Madueke, Chelsea on the threat early, and Nkunku dinking it in. Sterling round the back, stoops, but it's over.
Yeah, felt like he just didn't really expect it to land to him so nicely there. Couldn't really position his body, I think, to direct the header onto the target. Really good play though, Sterling, Madueke starting where he left off, absolutely, against Manchester City, and that's really nicely flighted. I just think Raheem Sterling was maybe just stuck in 2 minds.
Well, there's 2 things to say there. A perfect example of why you want Nkunku in that creative position rather than necessarily being the finisher, but equally why you might want him being the finisher too. And I was just thinking that risk and reward we're talking about there, that's a hair's breadth from an error at one end, but because of that choice to play out from the back that he is absolutely wedded to, comes a really good opportunity. Isn't that just it in a nutshell?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little bit catching, hasn't it, that giving the ball away, especially the deep line midfield player. Lavia, Caicedo gave one away the other day. I think that's been a little bit of a problem throughout the pre-season. So, as I touched on a lot during the Manchester City fixture, it's getting used to what the coach wants, getting used to the angles and where you're going to be receiving it, especially when you're playing out there, the intricacies.
Reece James got attracted in there. Timing had to be right, and was from Levi Colwill. Well played.
You're going to have to be really well organised and communicate throughout proceedings against such a brilliant couple of front players. Lovely movement.
Should Reece James be going forward towards the ball there? Is that all right that he made that move, or should he be just concentrating on the runner?
Yeah, I think he probably could have positioned himself slightly better there, read the situation rather than stepping in. Little
touch of the old Cucurella's there from the skipper, who not that long ago, was being courted by all accounts by Real Madrid. And he's got his boss right in front of him there, behind him should I say, as Nkunku misplaces a pass. Long conversation between the two coaches pre-match here. Not just two Italians, but two Italians who know one another from a different time. About 1 million medals ago, when Don Carlo, as Juve coach, signed Enzo Maresca, then 19 years old, from West Bromwich Albion. The unflappable Ancelotti, with the best CV that anyone probably will ever have in coaching. Good challenge from Lucas Vazquez. What a good player he's been for Real Madrid for a long time now. I wonder if we'll see Tony Rudiger storming forward and having a pop from 35 yards tonight.
He got one in the end, didn't he?
He did. And the Matthew Harding end went rightly berserk. In fact, so did everybody. I think the bench is cleared. About 120th time lucky. Raheem Sterling scored a corker the other day. It's Man City. It's Lavia looking for him there. Not quite tall enough to bring it down one way and another. Brentford at home, the Rudiger game, when it finally happened. He'd smashed the crossbar a couple, as I recall. And he's looking after Nkunku at the moment. Well, Eder Militao is on Mark Guiu. Not sure if he's had a touch yet as it goes towards Madueke. And here's the other former Blue in the lineup in Thibaut Courtois.
That was a shame. Enzo got turned brilliantly, took it on his back foot, and the pass was on, I thought, for Guiu on the shoulder, just turned it down.
Looking forward to seeing a bit more of Philip Jørgensen here tonight. The Dane from Villarreal, lot of money. Not for the first time. We have a summer wondering what exactly is going on in goal. In behind Garcia is Nkunku. Teaser of a ball in towards Mark Guiu. Eder Militao, perfectly placed, fortunately for Chelsea. Feels pretty open though, doesn't it? Both ways, and that is typical Tony, dare I say it. Full-blooded, bordering on rash, and pretty blatant.
Yeah, a bit cynical, just gets done by the sharpness. But Madueke started really well once more. Rudiger just wasn't up for a race, was he, towards his own corner flag. Great play. I would have liked to have seen Guiu just get across Militao there. I think Militao's positioning has got to be really poor if he allows the ball inside of him and in between him and Courtois for the tap-in. Just want to see the centre-forward be really aggressive with that movement. Even if he can't score himself, it just creates a little bit of mayhem.
The weapon that is the right boot of Reece James, that is right where you'd want it. Eder Militao got the head, Courtois with the fist. Badiashile didn't really challenge him, Chelsea throw.
Yeah, it's going to be an avenue for Chelsea with dead balls. Reece James coming up the pitch and being able to whip them in from that side. I just want to see him be able to get a little bit more involved in open play. Will Enzo Maresca maybe give him a little bit more freedom? The longer he works with him, just to get involved a little bit in the final third, even if it's slinging balls in from a little bit deeper. I spoke of that a few weeks ago during one of the games. I think he can still do it, especially when you've got a little bit more of a physical target, which I'm sure we'll have soon with Jackson's return to full fitness.
Do you think that might be what we would see more from deep than necessarily Noni Madueke when he comes in field, that Reece will be overlapping?
Yeah, I don't
because of the system.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
think
not
it's gonna,
as much.
Probably not if he's being deployed more of as a right-sided centre half. But yeah, I mean at Leicester, you know, it was often the right side that came into midfield. So there's a little bit of a change there, given that Gusto's been deployed in that role at the moment. So we'll see what happens. You know, start of the season. I think Reece gives you incredible options, doesn't he? Because we know he can play in central midfield. He can play down the right-hand side. Obviously, as a wing-back, he can play this role that he's positioned in tonight. Gives you great options.
Speaking of the right side, Madueke interested, but Rudiger finding the other former blue on show here. And awkward bit of spin on that for Reece James. Problems. Jurgensen came. Pulled back by Vinicius Junior. Here's Modric. It's tight in there. Thankfully it's over the bar.
Couldn't quite dig it out in the end, but it was a scare. And Reece James, after just singing his praises, has looked a little bit vulnerable with balls down the side of him or over the top. He's just hesitated on a couple of occasions in the last few fixtures of this tour. Him and Levi Colwill with little minor errors there, nearly leading to a goal.
Even the best need a bit of time to adapt to a new role, and he would seemingly have that. That's surely handball. I just wonder, I'm talking about Gusto and James and their position and the position of the fullback in general, whether it changes Reece's capacity if and when Marc Cucurella returns. And I imagine he probably would. He'll be ahead of Chilwell right now, and you would think in pecking order. Maybe that makes it justified for Reece to get forward. You'd think Cucurella the better midfielder, if you like, when coming in there than Gusto, who's more a runner than a player. And Garcia with the cross, and there is Gusto. That's turned out handy. If he meant that, that was brilliant. And if he didn't, we'll take it. Sterling into Guiu, back to Enzo Fernandez. And here is the running Gusto, disappointing cutback, still falls for Nkunku. Sterling with the shot, Eder Militao in his way. As Modric gets away from Enzo Fernandez a bit too easily. Vinny Junior up against Reece James, it's one-on-one. Look out, it's entertaining already, folks. And he's in. He got the ball, says the referee.
Well, I think both players get a little bit of luck there. Vinicius Junior looked like he was going to be thwarted by Reece James. Little ricochet takes him in, and then James fully committed to the challenge from an angle where you would anticipate it to be dangerous and probably end up in a penalty. So I think good fortune there that he's got something on the ball and the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt.
See Gusto into midfield there alongside Lavia when Chelsea in possession. That has been the way of it. Again, the ball was won in the eyes of the referee. Now Gusto's still down. It's very open. And this being a pre-season friendly, the ball will be put out. Couple of 50-50 calls going the way of the defensively minded players. This was the first of them. He got a toe in there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was just moving to the kind of left of the ball, it looks like. Vinicius Junior ready to just bend it towards the far corner. He's just read his intentions and got the toe in. That one's okay as well, I think.
I think the referee's right on both there. Reece James definitely got the right boot on the ball, then his left leg took out Vinicius Junior. That doesn't mean it's a penalty though. And Modric got the ball and then it was shin on shin. by the looks of it. Acrobatics from Rudiger. We're more than familiar with that.
Reece James, it's just come to mind, had that brilliant game at the Bernabeu a couple of seasons ago, and I think Vinicius Junior, I think it was, made a beeline for him at full time and exchanged a few words. He was superb that night.
Rodrigo on the charge. And he's got right underneath that. He's still waiting to see a first save. Lucas Vazquez it was who was up from right back, who's slid it well over, as it turned out. Came forward pretty quick.
Yeah, there's a real dynamism about them, isn't it? As soon as it gets forward, and they're not shy in trying to play into the front players, either down the side or over the top. Looked electric, despite not having many pre-season minutes between them. Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo in tonight from the off.
Well, there has barely been a quiet spell throughout this Chelsea pre-season. And they're turned and running again here, Real. And the back-pedalling defence didn't have enough cover in midfield. Dani Ceballos trying to battle his way through, and he nearly has! And it's wide from Brahim Diaz. And it didn't get a touch. I presumed it must have done. Big chance.
Yeah, this is a problem, isn't it? Especially the way that Real Madrid set up. I mean, this is how they have set up, you know, previously, probably over the last year or two. The split strikers, Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior, pulling on the outside of, obviously, Reece James on this near side, and on Levi Colwill on the opposite flank. So they're getting loads of space. If it's transferred quickly, you're in trouble.
Just saw Noni Madueke in discussion with one of his midfielders about that. So now Lavia comes there, but you can see the high squeeze from Colwill. But then if there's not pressure on the ball, Enzo Fernandez trying to release Sterling. Well, 18 thoroughly entertaining minutes. The only surprise, no one scored yet. La Liga, a couple of weeks behind the Premier League. They won their crown back, Real. Do that quite well. That looked onside. Badiashile was sprightly enough. Lucas Vazquez still there. It's in. Bundled in. Dani Ceballos. Chelsea fall behind once more. To some degree, you'd say it's been coming.
Getting pulled around far too easily at the moment. There's not really much pressure being applied on the ball, high up the pitch. Lavia kind of trying to get across there, but look at the ease at which Rodrigo can get turned and pick out a runner. They're getting in behind Chelsea far too easily. Yes, there's a little bit of good fortune at the end. He's onside. It's quite tight on Badiashile, but looks like he's onside. Ceballos, and just gets the run of the ball, unable to poke it over the line, but they've looked dangerous, haven't they, the last 10 minutes or so, getting in too willingly, and probably will feel they deserve to be in front.
The last touch, was it actually off Jurgensen here? Or did they both get one? No, I don't think Dani Ceballos even got a touch there. Jurgensen seems to have got the fingers on it. Awkward, low, spinning, ricocheted ball. And this open game has its first goal, and I would suggest it won't be its last, and Lucas Vazquez will probably get the credit for it. There isn't a dubious goals panel for pre-season friendlies. getting announced locally as Real's right back, Lucas Vazquez. Badia Shield just about got enough on that. At least it was positive intent from Raheem Sterling. Didn't work that time, but you want to see them taking him on in those positions. Rodrigo just limping a bit there as Rudiger picks up the ball. Fran Garcia. Well, he's close enough, Enzo Maresca, to the right side of this defence, and yet that is still happening right in front of him. Into Vinicius Junior. Enzo just about pulled himself away from making that challenge. Crowd want Modric to shoot. Still, look at him going, he's going to get there as well, ahead of Badia Shield. Jurgensen with an important boot.
Yeah, enjoying themselves at the moment. I think, you know, Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior, their movement superb, but it's the freedom that they're given. I think their positions are so flexible, they're not set within their roles. We just saw Rodrigo pick up the ball deeper than Enzo Fernandez in a kind of central midfield position. Then all of a sudden they spring wide in behind Reece James or Levi Colwill. Brahim Diaz playing almost as a false nine, he's getting on the ball as well, so just moving Chelsea around, and I think it's that organisation right now which Chelsea just can't get a handle on.
Well, one suspects Bellingham and Mbappe might come into the picture for Real Madrid, but you know, a lot of these players will be starting for them too. Look at that team there. And with the exception of young Mario Martin, the 20-year-old in midfield, the other 5 of the front 6 have been together for a long time, as Jurgensen does well to deal with that deflected cross, but it keeps on coming. And Dani Ceballos curls one just wide.
Yeah, it's a nice try, and he did do well because he was able to steer it away from Rudiger. Jurgensen there, that would have been easy to just palm it into the path. Former Chelsea player, Ceballos not far away at all. Jurgensen was worried, wasn't he? It's difficult to tell. Is it his right toe that just gets to the ball? Possibly.
Maybe it's both of them. It's definitely the keeper's right glove. Maybe a stud or two from Ceballos. Had a bit of time in London himself, of course, as a gooner. There's plenty in the Real camp who were part of the two similar but contrasting ties in the Champions League a few years back. Not that many survivors from a Chelsea point of view, of course, Reece James, but otherwise so new look around him. And the second of those ties, Vinicius Junior there at Stamford Bridge, was monstrously good. He and Benzema. Team Tuchel certainly did a job on Real in the victorious season of 21. Real coming forward again, plenty of blue shirts in the box, including that of Romeo Lavia, and suddenly Nkunku has skipped past a challenge brilliantly. 4 on 3. It's a little behind Sterling, and that little bit has made the difference in the end.
Yeah, it's problematic at the other end for a moment, but Chelsea broke brilliantly, and most players would probably have gone to ground here or not been able to manufacture a touch so good from Nkunku. Look at those 2 touches, absolutely sublime. And you're right though, Raheem Sterling's frustrated. That's not a better pass.
He's just had to delay, hasn't he? He couldn't sprint onto it. Just that fraction under his feet, it allows Eder Militao in. A foot further forward and he strides onto it, right? And he's surely shooting first time right foot for the far corner.
There's still that organisation at the opposite end. There was just a moment there where Badiashile had to step out towards the ball. Enzo Fernandez wasn't getting back in. And therefore there was a bit of space behind Badiashile, just Real Madrid unable to find that final pass. But yeah, both teams looking dangerous going forward.
The 09-10 double in his first season, Carlo Ancelotti. He did have a pretty good team, and in fairness, he's had a pretty good team everywhere he's been. That helps the CV, but PSG, Bayern, a couple of goes at Real, Chelsea, Milan,
Everton.
That's the outlier. Even he couldn't get them playing. Here's Fernandez. Looks like a well-timed run. Jurgensen's gone. Didn't get there. 2-0. Brahim Diaz, and it's that left channel again. The fluid Real attack are looking very dangerous. Game 3 only of pre-season for them, but they are causing the Blues serious problems here.
Just zero pressure on Ceballos initially. Yeah, he's onside in between Colwill and Badiashile. I mean, the finish is brilliant from an acute angle, but again, it's far too easy. And that front 3 have been electric from the off. Brahim Diaz has been knitting it together really well. And yes, it's an acute angle, but he finishes that sublimely.
Well, there have been many a head start as the players have a hydration break here, Sam, over the last 9 months or so. We've said it a lot, you don't want to keep saying it, but it's unavoidable really, and it was for a big chunk of last season, to be fair. Massive chunk of last season. We're having to score 3 goals to be in a game, to win it.
Yeah, and the difficulty, I suppose, if you're looking across the last few games, it's been problematic with the ball trying to play out. That's where the errors have been coming that have led to goals. Tonight, not getting close enough really without the ball, especially kind of in the midfield area where you would like to think with Lavia and Gusto side by side, and potentially Nkunku and Enzo Fernandez come back at times to help that, you'd be well stocked in there. But every time Real Madrid have had players dropping into spaces, they've been able to get turned. That was a prime example there before the second goal. No one within 5 yards of the creator, Vinicius Junior. Yeah, the run's great and the finish is brilliant, but I think it's that lack of pressure on the player that's getting turned at the moment. That's an issue. Why Chelsea can't get close, I'm not entirely too sure, but there's far too much space and they're having a bit of a field day.
We're half an hour into game 5. 12 goals have gone in against Chelsea this pre-season. That will be the coach's concern as he gets a few more messages out there to the other Enzo in town. The strings have been being pulled for the Blues and Nkunku's been doing it, and we need him and Madueke to come back into this game, Sam, as they were actually. First 10 minutes or so, I thought Chelsea looked every bit as much likely to score as Real did, but since then, less so.
Yeah,
Feels a bit like that anyway.
Yeah, and Nkunku's shown some nice touches. Madueke's continued to impress, I would suggest. There's just the unpredictability about Real Madrid's attack, the different movements, the patterns. I just think the freedom that they play with has been so problematic. Chelsea are, I would say, even in a position where they're losing this game by a couple of goals, structurally they're more set in their pattern, Chelsea, but it's a little bit predictable at the moment. You're hoping that Nkunku can get turned and produce a bit of magic. Likewise, Madueke down the near side, but Real Madrid just have that inventiveness to their game.
Shield just jockeying, Malo Gusto back for extra help as a cheeky little chip comes in and Jurgensen is there. Nkunku has come wide to find a little bit of room. Really hard to judge, certainly at this point, what Enzo Maresca has as his, if indeed he does have a chosen central defensive pair. You would think Caicedo over Lavia when fit. There is certainly Cole Palmer and Cucurella, just the longest Euros players to come back in. Plenty of these will be starting against Man City. Maybe we'll get a clearer picture of his plans in the intermatch in terms of selection, but you wouldn't imagine Cucurella and Palmer will be playing 90 minutes of that, so maybe they don't play 90 minutes against Man City either. Although maybe you play Cole Palmer, whatever he is. Gusto in that unfamiliar territory that he hasn't looked comfortable with. And, he's done enough in atoning for it going back.
There's not really been too many spells of Chelsea possession. That was an opportunity for Real Madrid to get back into their shape and Chelsea start to have a little feel of the ball, but as you said, Gusto just with a little bit of a loose touch. He atoned for his error, he got back in well, but familiarity maybe with the role once more.
Sterling seeing a bit of it, Madueke too, and Nkunku. Mark Guiu was not, and that's not necessarily his fault at all. Can't get him into the game yet, it's curled in a little too far. Former Barca boy up against Real Madrid. And that was Colwell's rather slack pass. Maybe Gusto's a little on his heels.
No, not a great pass.
It wasn't, was it?
Levi Colwill raises an arm apologetically. Yeah, I think that one's on him. And again, it's that pass into the central midfield that has been really problematic in the last couple of games.
Lavia. Space for Gusto. And you want to see him do that. At the ground. Out the way, ref. Here's Guiu, but not for long. Solid Bobby Moore style challenge from Eder Militao. As Vinny switches it from one side to the other, just a little too far for Lucas Vázquez, but only a little. Trying to retain the title this season. They're going to win it, lose it, win it, lose it, and win it. Been alternating. You're nitpicking. That'd be something Ancelotti would like to do. Couldn't quite do it as Chelsea boss, second in his second season. Only just behind Fergie's United. Lavia, ton of space over there. Sterling had to kind of wait for it a little bit as Gusto plays it back to him. Beautiful pass, just needed a tap in from Nkunku. Raheem Sterling couldn't quite find him. Gorgeous ball though. The assist before the assist, if you know what I mean, Sam.
It really was. Lovely Chelsea move. Great movement. The pass, sumptuous from Gusto, perfectly weighted under his feet as well. I think Raheem Sterling can run round that or just sort his feet out and finish himself, right-footed. Opts to try and square. I was surprised. I thought that Raheem Sterling would have opted to shoot.
And Nkunku's in the net, and the ball isn't. What a shame. That was a very pretty picture weaved by the Blues there.
Yeah, and that's been a little bit problematic in the first half, making those opportunities. I think they've got it into Nkunku pretty successfully. He's been the one that's been freed up, but it's that next bit which Real Madrid have been able to execute. When a player gets turned, i.e. Nkunku for Chelsea, whoever it's been kind of in the hole for Real Madrid, he's been able to find that next pass and penetrate.
One ball and they look dangerous. And that's a little concerning. Chelsea back in better number now. Garcia, who gets it back here from Vidi Jr. Rodrigo moves it on, continues his run. He's going to keep it in, and then he's not going to keep it in. Shinned behind.
This is lovely play, great ability. Party tricks were out. Just a little bit over elaborate in the end, in fact. I mean, the first 3 or 4 passes were beautiful. Meg Diaz, I think it was, with a little scoop pass, a little bit too much on it.
Nkunku coming deeper to get on the ball. Which tells its own story, perhaps, a little. Clearly has some licence. You do like him in the playmaker role because he looks so comfortable with the ball coming into him in any way. Guiu, delicately done. In towards Madueke, and the Blues have one back, and Noni's got another pre-season goal. 2-1. One of Chelsea's star performers this summer. On the mark again.
And they've started to have a little bit more joy. I think, you know, Nkunku coming really deep isn't a huge problem if that's the way Chelsea are going to get out. If he can be the free man, so good on the ball, work it down the left-hand side. And gobbles them up, doesn't he? I think he's left it for the fullback. The fullback's
not nearly strong enough, because Noni Madueke for a wide man is a big strong boy, and Fran Garcia is not going to win this one, is he?
No, absolutely.
No, I'm with
not.
you. You know, you can see from there that's in the 6-yard box. You'd expect maybe a sharp Courtois comes and gets it, but perfectly directed down and game on.
Yeah, I think he's been that good over the last few years, Courtois. You don't expect him to concede a goal of that nature. Looked unbeatable in some of these Champions League runs. That was definitely a defensive mistake. It was a decent ball in from Enzo Fernandez, but Madueke makes it into a decent ball by attacking it when Real Madrid goalkeeper and fullback didn't.
Well, we've had a 2-2. a 4-1, a 3-0 win, a 4-2 defeat. We've got goals at both ends again here. As last season, not too many clean sheets for anyone when Chelsea are around. 3 goals in this first half and counting.
We knew that the manager was going to have a problem reintegrating Cole Palmer into the starting 11, trying to get him in there. Where's he going to play? He's got an even bigger problem now that with Madueke's form on the right-hand side, because if that's the position earmarked for Cole Palmer, he's doing pretty well, isn't he? 3 goals in 3 games now, and the performances to add.
You do think that maybe Enzo Fernandez in this particular system is the one who might miss out. Nkunku and Enzo Fernandez as the 2 10s, if you like. Maybe it's Nkunku and Palmer on the night, so to speak. There's Sterling, there's Guiu. It's worth a shot, and it's Enzo Fernandez who hits it. I suspect Courtois had it covered.
He's quite a way out, isn't he? Gives Courtois the time to get across, a little bit closer in. The disguise may have beaten him had it been on target. But yeah, grown in, getting confidence. Naturally, the goal gives you that. And started to play some decent stuff, I would say, the last 10 minutes. Again, you know, it's a bit more patient, and if it has to go through Nkunku a little bit deeper, just to knit it together, I don't see that as being a problem. He's looked class again, hasn't he? Opening 40 minutes, touch really assured.
Garcia here has been a factor in this first half, in both directions. Got a few games, it's an academy product, a few games last term when Camavinga wasn't playing there. Cole will just totally follow through. Reece James going for Vinicius Jr. No foul there, matey. Gusto's got space to run into. Can Chelsea pinch a leveller here? That's a good run from Madueke. Wanted that ball in behind. Gusto's already played one magic pass. Madueke's got it now. His first touch, though, just showed enough of it to Fran Garcia. You've got to wonder what Luka Modric is made of. Never mind the quality on the ball. In terms of legs around the pitch, I think he's been as impressive as anyone out there. He will be 39 in September. Since 2008, the Ballon d'Or's only been won twice by someone who's not Messi or Ronaldo. Modric is one of them. Another's a Real Madrid player too. Or was at the time. Benzema. As Rodrigo goes for the spectacular and finds the fans a long way behind the Jorgensen goal. Goulet second from the right there. Jesus Vallejo next to him, and Endrick. 35 million euros worth from Palmeiras, latest young Brazilian hotshot. Good ball, Enzo Fernandez. Good run, Malo Gusto. Here's Sterling. Never looked like he was going to get around Lucas Vázquez there. Suddenly it's all open again on this right side. This is a communication thing that's got to come with training and with time playing together. Whether it's Noni helping Reece, whether it's Levi Colwill and Reece and their communication, there's something not right in that channel. Real Madrid aren't having to do much to get in there. If it was brilliance or real deft flicks and tiki-taka one-touch stuff, then maybe, but it's not really. It's pretty easy, and there it is again.
Yeah, it's been problematic. They favour that side, don't they? I mean, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo all make clever movements into that area of the pitch. I think it is naturally the problem you have when you're playing this system. Teams are going to look to transfer it quickly, especially when they've got pace. I think Celtic did something similar. Certainly that's been the avenue for Real Madrid and the biggest problem for Chelsea in this first half.
They load up in there. Is it Lavia that has to come across and help out more? Is it more than just Lavia? I'll pick up on that in a minute. It's a Modric corner here as we find ourselves in the second minute of stoppage time here. It's a decent enough bit of distance on the Jurgensen punch. There's a break on if the Blues are quick. Augusto is certainly quick. There he is, helping it on, and helping it on one more now. Noni Madueke, confident, in form, but tackled. Another stoppage here, somewhere at the start of that breakaway. Augusto get taken out after he passed the ball, holding his neck. Captain and coach talking, and to be honest, I'm not surprised. It's a heck of a barge that from Eder Militao, in fairness. I was watching the ball. A bit jarring, might even have a bit of whiplash there. One of those, Sam, that you probably didn't see coming a little bit. If you know you're going to have that impact, you brace for it. It's a little bit out of the blue.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that, is he? It was a fair old thump into the back of him. He looks quite short.
We'll expect to see plenty of them soon. Maybe even all of them at some point. Dewsbury Hall, Mudryk, Chukwu, Tosin, Robert Sanchez, all there, and others. Chukwu make off Fofana, Chilwell, Sado. Carney Chukwuemeka the other night in the Man City game. And we've seen 90 minutes in the Wrexham game, and we started the Celtic match as well. We'll probably restart here for a matter of seconds. Looks like there'll just be the one goal in it, Sam, going into the break.
Yeah, I think it's probably a fair reflection of the first half. Real Madrid probably had more chances on Jurgensen's goal and Chelsea at the opposite end, but yeah, got themselves back in with an opportunity of getting a result tonight. So I'm sure Enzo Maresca won't be too deterred. He will be by the defending, especially down this side, and that's probably why he's just been deep in conversation with Reece James. I just don't think they've got that, you know, kind of pressure on the ball and dropping off correct so far, and it's something he spoke of, I think, after maybe that initial game of this tour, certainly after the Celtic defeat, just getting used to how they are going to defend and how they're going to play this high line. Real Madrid absolutely have been electric in attack, but they've got in far too easily. It
remains bold. wonder if he might just drop it a few yards to begin with and then edge up as the weeks go by. Rudiger with a big crossfield ball, surely in the final seconds now. That's almost in the way again. He's got to work on that. Here comes the overlap. Pass not on now. And that'll do it. Well, it's open again. It's entertaining again. There's been plenty going on in both goal mouths again. Chelsea's breached first by Lucas Vazquez, we think, and then by Brahim Diaz. Noni Madueke with yet another pre-season goal, giving the contest a better look. And Kunku has looked good when given the ball. Chelsea have looked a little leaky. At the moment, the risk is just about outweighing the reward. Let's hope that changes after the break. But at that break, it is Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 1. That looks to be Real's only change for now. I'm sure there'll be loads more coming shortly. But Andrei Lunin, Ukrainian, is in goal for Courtois for this second half. Looks like Kepa is persona non grata in that regard. Mark Gill hope to get into the game a little more. And Chelsea will start this second half with the same personnel. And let's see what the second half begins. Such an obvious attacking spot. Sometimes they overload that. They're looking for the pass. Even then, Real Madrid down in between Reece James and Levi Colwill. Calmly done by Jurgensen. Interesting to see his footwork, given how key that is for pretty much everyone of any standard. Nowadays, Reece James popping it forward. Sterling made a good run and his control was excellent. Here's Guiu, nicely done, and Kunku, and Lunin has immediate work to do within a minute of joining the party here. Lovely football.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, you know, Reece James can bring in this position. He's afforded a little bit too much time there from a Real Madrid perspective, but lovely movement, great take from Raheem Sterling, and I think that touch and where he is in proximity to the goal, he was always going to try and lift it. It's a good stop.
Vazquez scurrying away from danger. And Ceballos. And obviously they have Bellingham to come back into that midfield, but they have lost the long-serving Toni Kroos. Big boots to fill. I suspect Bellingham will be playing a bit deeper this term, given who's newest on the arrivals list. Slipped through Sterling and found its way. Vazquez stepping up, hungry. Needed a better ball there. That must be a very tight call for now. Vinicius Junior ongoing. Look out. Badiashile in the way. Otherwise, Brahim Diaz might have had another.
Yeah, if you watch the movement, Vinicius Junior, even before Modric is anywhere near the ball, he spun into that space. And the set's a little bit too heavy. Probably couldn't strike that first time, just tried to bend it towards that top right-hand corner, didn't get the deviation on the ball. But yeah, I think early part of the second half, Madueke's position has just altered a little bit. He was on the toes of Reece James there as Real Madrid were building, almost in a back five against the ball. So I think that's definitely a conversation that's been had probably throughout the 15 minutes at half-time, just how to close that space up, make it a tougher pass for Real Madrid.
Enzo Fernandez into Mark Guiu, and there's real promise here. He went for goal. Raheem Sterling seemed the better option. I know it's easy from here, but when you've had so few sights of it and you're the centre forward, I guess I get that. Or should he just outright have passed?
Yeah, I think in a competitive match, more competitive than tonight, Raheem Sterling would have had one or two things to say. I can understand it. As you touched on, he's been pretty starved. His touch has been pretty secure. I think he's been a bit safe at times when it's been popped into him. He's found a blue shirt, but there was a couple of occasions in the first half where maybe he could have turned and been a little bit more proactive, but that was probably understandable, taking that one on.
Rudiger able to turn there and had 15 yards of space in front of him. Easy pass to get Real up the field. A bit too much of that. Here's Modric. Definitely don't want to give him time. The point you made there about the run of Vinicius Junior before Modric had even passed it. When you've got a passer of his quality, and let's be honest, very few teams do, it must be wonderful being a forward player.
It's interesting that Madueke's right in there now.
That is clearly a thing, isn't it? That must have been discussed, and yet they're still through down there once more. Reece James got an important touch, Badiashile did the rest. Real come again. Once more, it's a great intervention from Badiashile, and it opens up here for Sterling, and Nkunku wanted the pass. Madueke's got it instead. Body check, or fair enough? Fair enough, apparently. End-to-end stuff, as someone once said. Tangled up under Rodrigo. Malo Gusto might need a bit of help here. Or a bit of skill. Treble teamed in the end, and that from Lucas Vazquez was deemed a foul.
He'd be delighted with that, wouldn't he, Gusto? He had absolutely nowhere to go there. 3 players converging on him. Take that all day.
Did well on that early save, didn't he, Lunin, to get out very quickly and smother. Given that he can't feel up to speed. 54 seconds, I think it was.
I think the way Nkunku took it in his stride, was kind of reaching for it, trying to wrap his right foot around it. I think the goalkeeper could guess that it was going to be elevated, he was going to try and dink him. And he guessed right. Sterling's position has remained high on this side. It just shows you with and without the ball, the threat that they have down their left, Real Madrid's left, down Chelsea's right. So Madueke certainly is dropping back in a little bit quicker. I didn't really see that in the first half. I didn't see him being alongside Reece James in line.
And he's still chuntering away. There was the assistant referee on that far side about the free kick he didn't get.
That was a foul, I thought.
Looked like one. Staying high and wide for now. But what it needs is good, dominant possession of the ball. It can't be given away cheaply. And then he and we are in trouble. Here's James. Into Gusto. The extra midfielder in there. The full-back tucking in to effectively give you a three at the back. Lavia and Gusto. And then 4 and 1. But it is predicated in terms of being successful and keeping it well. That has been done in these last few seconds, actually. And Sterling here, seeing a lot of orange in front of him, and finding there was no way through. Great pace from Malo Gusto. Good control though, Brahim Diaz. Vinicius Jr. gets it out to Rodrigo. Definitely overload that left channel for attacking. Diaz again. Ceballos. Vinicius Jr. Dangerous looking Real Madrid possession, ends in a corner. One game after this, and Premier League points on the line. The toughest of home starts. Rodrigo, a fair bit of fun at Man City's expense himself. Easily cleared by Captain James. Kiyu will try and put the pressure on, and indeed has put the pressure on all the way back to Lunin. Effortlessly done by Luka Modric. Might be being withdrawn shortly. Number 45. Just got a touchline shout down there. More defending to do first. Rodrigo corner. It's a good one. It's a very good one. Again, Militao.
He gets a clean header on that delivery. Enzo Fernandez doing enough to put him off.
Lavia able to take it, turn and see some green grass in front of him. Already seen tons more of him in this pre-season than we did in the whole of last term. Caicedo and Mudryk coming shortly, so that may well be why we heard the number 45 being mooted as the man off, and I think that'll be the cue right now. And indeed that is the change, which makes this team, I would suspect, one position closer to being how it will be when it all kicks off. Meanwhile on the left flank, Mudryk for Sterling. Thoughts on that, Sam Parkin?
Yeah, just more minutes, I think, and I think Sterling would be frustrated that he hadn't received the ball in a few really good positions when he was primed probably to go and finish, and likewise his teammates would have been frustrated maybe with Sterling's final ball tonight. And that said, I think Vasquez has done a pretty good job on him. Lavia, yeah, maybe not as eye-catching as his previous performances, but I still think it's been a huge step in the right direction from him this pre-season. And when we reflect on what we've seen in America, I think supporters will be really content with his role in the team and what he can potentially bring this season. He's been very good in a couple of the games, that's for sure.
Yeah, every minute a bonus really for now, as Madueke clips one into a quite awkward area. Lunin comes out and gets it. Do you see it as straightforward as Caicedo or Lavia in that role? Do you expect to see them both in there?
I would have said one of them a few weeks ago, but how the games have gone right now, I don't think it's a given that one of the fullbacks is going to be joining one central midfield player. It hasn't looked convincing, has it? But I suppose Cucurella does come into the mix, doesn't he? Let's not rule out him. Maybe not for the first game of the season, but he obviously played that role at times for Pochettino to really good effect.
Caicedo wins it, and Guiu hits it. Good early clean strike, just a bit too close to Lunin, but we like that pressure on the ball there.
I think it is most likely that we will see one of the fullbacks join in, a Caicedo or Lavia. Led to believe that is going to be the system that is favoured.
Got to think Cucurella suits it better. We've seen him do it for Chelsea and for Spain. Here is Malo Gusto, who is really good at a great many things. I'm a big fan of his. I'm with you, I feel, in terms of that specific aspect of being on the football pitch, it is more the Spaniard's game than Gusto's. Chelsea getting up the field. Pace of Mudryk. How do we use that better this season? I don't think we'll see him coming in field as much as we did last under Poch. That was clearly an instruction. I know the fans at the Bridge were getting a little frustrated that he was often in field, but he was definitely told to do it. I'm suspecting this setup to see his average position be a little wider. The ball was in his direction there, and the coach puts the thumbs up for the intention, if not the execution. There's a few more go out for a warm-up, including Ben Chilwell, and Dewsbury Hall.
There's so many options in the wide positions, all bringing different skill sets. You think of last season when Jackson often played wide on the left-hand side. I think Nkunku could do it, no problem. Obviously not out-and-out wingers, and as I touched on in the first half, Madueke is continuing to produce and give the manager a little bit of a problem, food for thought, ahead of the first games, especially with Palmer coming back into the reckoning. So at the moment, that left-hand side is really open, isn't it? Mudryk, Sterling. You could probably play Madueke out there, if you were looking to complement Palmer on the opposite flank, who's invariably going to come in field and use his left foot. So someone's going to have to play on there, not play inverted, if you like. If it is Mudryk or Madueke, they're going to have to play on their strong side, on their left foot, on the left, which is a bit old-fashioned for the modern game, but at the moment Madueke's the man in form. No, it's pre-season, but he's doing the business, and it'll be surprised if he doesn't make the cut.
There's Gusto doing that job again. I'm sure Ben Chilwell will say he can do it every bit as well as Cucurella. Maybe he can, if he can stay fit. Gusto again. As for those two 10s, surely Cole Palmer has to be one of them. So you'd say against this team it would be Palmer and Nkunku, and then with the centre forward that would probably be Jackson. But then Chelsea have brought Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who Maresca loves and played in that position for Leicester. So I can't help thinking it's Palmer and Dewsbury Hall with Nkunku as the centre forward. All being fit and well. So we've all got our ideas. We'll start finding out soon enough. Worth a hit, maybe. Badiashile in the way. This is Junior. The crack. Mudryk spotted that a mile off and is off and running. With momentum and a head start, no one catches him. No one's catching that either, though, except in Rosehead.
Such a shame. The first bit's brilliant. Anticipation and then the burst of speed through the gears. Fantastic stuff. Hesitancy from Vinicius Junior. I just wanted him to go on the outside there. He's got the beating of Militao, no question. Take it on the outside and worry about that shot or pass when that eventuality presents itself. That was a bit of a let-off for Real Madrid.
Nkunku really wanted it rolled in there. I'm not surprised he had the crack though, having had that run with it opening up in front of him. Just on those 2-10s, were it to be Palmer and Dewsbury Hall, you've got to think that that makes Chukwuemeka and Enzo Fernandez the backups, you know, all the other options, if you like, in that position. 4 competitions, hopefully, so plenty of football to go around. Vinicius Junior works his way in through the crowd. He can't work the ball through them. Another foul on Enzo Fernandez. Yes, it was. Free kick.
Madueke's in position here, but just gets out-muscled. Vinicius Junior. Reece James is able to hold him up sufficiently for Chelsea to get bodies back and deal with it quite comfortably.
Vinny Junior seeing his number up, and he will be replaced by Nico Paz, the Argentine, who came off the bench and scored last time out against Barcelona. We're also going to see Juanmi Latasa. Kin and Dewsbury Hall, more importantly to us, comes on for Chelsea. Who we've just been talking about. Never mind Nico Paz. Raul Asensio. So coming on with Eder Militao making way. And, this may well proceed a little spell of Real looking a bit disjointed. Let's hope so. Dewsbury Hall has taken up the position Enzo Fernandez was in, and he has come to the more left-sided number 10, it seems. Sam?
So he's been in that, I think, slightly left for the second half, or certainly a period of it.
Dewsbury Hall making the run furthest forward there, far too much on the pass, but really added goals in an advanced position, a more advanced position than he had played previously. Chatty sort, Thibaut Courtois always was. Didn't leave in the best circumstances, but what a keeper. Plenty of shield. Caicedo. Lot of space for Mudryk. Caicedo has spotted him, drilled it at him. Quickly getting numbers around him. Hello, Mudryk. Shot to kind of international prominence with the Champions League group stage campaign for Shakhtar, where he started twice against Real Madrid and certainly stretched them. He didn't score against them, he did score 3 times in that group, including against Nkunku's Leipzig, actually, and against Celtic. You saw the speed and the finishing in that group. Nicely done, Madueke. He is a forward in form. Dewsbury Hall. Madueke has bought himself the room. Chelsea trying to keep the pressure on, but that's a pretty neat turn.
It's very measured, Noni Madueke. He doesn't want to just fling it in there for the sake of it. It's a good ball in. I want Mudryk attacking that. You know, it's lovely if it can bypass the full-back and land on your head, but I think you want a bit more dynamic movement there, be aggressive rather than hanging around the far post. I don't think Mudryk's going to score too many far post headers. Get across people. It's an easier finish, more can go wrong as well from a defensive standpoint.
And it'll be Fofana for James at the back. As Enzo Fernandez takes the arm back. It's just great to see him, whatever the level of games, pre-season or otherwise, just playing sound, game after game after game.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, that can get lost, can't it? Needs to get through this pre-season fit and ready for the start of the season. Missed a hell of a lot of football.
And so did he. "20 appearances in his first season, Wesley Fofana. The old cliches of pre-season applied to him, like a new signing for this one. His season 2 was a write-off. Let's see how Dewsbury Hall is now in the 20 minutes or so that remain here. I was thinking about something you said the other night when we were together about what a lovely way to come in. Normally, if you've been playing a division down and you join a club like Chelsea, you're a new boy, you're thinking, but so different. It's the boss who's come over and he's essentially made sure you've been bought. Can't feel too much like a fish out of water, and confidence has got to be a big thing in that regard.
Chelsea fans who go week in, week out would have been there for that Leicester game in the FA Cup and remember how good he was on that day, even in defeat. Took the ball under pressure in all situations. It was an excellent performance from him. I remember on the gantry speaking to yourself and Jason Cundy after the game about his quality and how much he'd stood out on Leicester's side. So hopefully that was an indication to the type of performances he'll be able to produce in a blue shirt now. Very good.
There he is, comfortably taking it. Fofana to Colwell. Jurgensen has not actually had a huge amount to do in terms of saves. Obviously the two relatively early goals going past him. But really tough to form any kind of opinion on what we've seen of him so far. Club America was a quiet half for him as well. The jury can only be out on him.
Really difficult to be overly critical about either of the goals, albeit the second one, possibly starting position, maybe we'll feel he could have done a little bit better. And coming out and forcing the Real Madrid player wider. The first one just felt a little bit unfortunate.
Majority of the threat in this game from both sides was maybe more in the first half than the second. Plenty of things not to lose sight of as Sam said Reece James is one, Fofana here is another, Lavia definitely. Just some new colleagues getting used to what a new coach is asking them to do. This is what pre-season is for. Chelsea can still pitch a win here. It's been a comfortable win over Club America. Nothing else has been that comfortable. That said, you'd rather have tough tests in pre-season. Celtic were fit and ready to go for the start of the season. Man City, Real Madrid. And Inter to come, defending Italian champions. Rudiger's header has worked out nicely for Noni Madueke. In the middle, Dewsbury Hall coming short. Madueke left the ball behind.
When it comes to nothing, but just kept my eye on Dewsbury Hall for a moment or two there after we spoke of him a few moments ago, and he just seems to have the understanding of where he should be moving, or certainly his movement is incredibly active. He goes wide there, quite high to try and make an angle to receive it on a couple of occasions, and then he's really dynamic, making a burst in behind. And Rudiger has to scramble and can't get a firm header or an accurate header to a teammate, and Chelsea can get on that second ball. So I think just another indication, another example of his understanding maybe of his role in that position in the team. And maybe just again an example of what Maresca was talking about a week or so ago, that he's just at the moment has got a stronger grasp on what he wants in terms of the patterns and the style of play, and that's understandable.
I'd certainly hope so. There's a cute pass. Safe hands from Jurgensen. Hit that from Nico Paz, certainly on target. Don Carlo is about to make a couple of changes. Look how wide Madueke and Modric are. Just came in off the touchline as I said that, but those starting positions clearly by design, pretty much on the white paint. Now the turnover. There was just a semblance of pressure. I'm intrigued, Sam, that Ben Chilwell, who has been fit enough to play in pre-season, hasn't had a little more of a look in that position. You mentioned Cucurella coming in, we both have. That'll be a corner. But that one seems fairly obvious that Cucurella can play in there. Surely not. But Ben Chilwell would probably like some more minutes, wouldn't he? No, Gusto's been in there a lot.
Yeah, I think the first game against Wrexham, it was Reece James who was playing in midfield, so therefore Ben Chilwell would be the left-sided centre-half when they're in the back three, which is a job I think he could probably do. I think he'd be relatively suited to that. I don't think it's Ben Chilwell's probably strongest suit moving forward for him to be the one going and taking it in midfield in congested areas, but I think he could offer something in that role. And of course we saw when the system was alterated for the most recent game against Manchester City, Gusto's role on that day, essentially as a wing-back on the left-hand side, that would be something that Ben Chilwell could fulfil no problem at all.
Tebas keeps it moving. Here's pass again. Real have brought on Rafa Obrador and Jacobo Ramon. And that is good, dogged work from Moises Caicedo. We saw one or two complaints about his performance the other night. It's his first game back. He hasn't played at all in any of the other games, so there's bound to be a bit of rust, as there was at West Ham in his first game last season. And look how well he then played. Great take from Nkunku. Could have done with a better pass from Mudryk, but he's rapid enough to get there. Now he's going to need some help or some skill. The corner will do. Chelsea still in this contest for sure.
Could have gone earlier as well. Misplaced it, too heavy, even for someone of Mudryk's pace, but a surprise, because we know Nkunku's the one that you want receiving it, getting turned and being the architect.
Mudryk dinking it in there towards Nkunku. Gusto pointing and directing, so too his coach. All the competitions last season, Chelsea scoring just over 2 a game on average, but in Premier League terms conceding 63 and 38. It was easily the most in the top half of the Premier League table. The threat has been quelled to some degree tonight. About 10 minutes after Real Madrid got their second, and equally you could say, well, yeah, they'd scored 2 by then though. So then their chances have certainly diminished. The 8 Premier League clean sheets is definitely in the in tray, isn't it? And it has been for his predecessors, in fairness. There's definitely a point that has to be made, and Poch certainly wasn't able to get those clean sheets going. 8 out of 38 last term. Well played, Mudryk. Enzo Fernandez. Dewsbury Hall was immediately on his bike then. That's a clever touch and a confident pass. Somehow this second half has drifted to 82 minutes. Another Real Madrid change coming. You feel like he might be running the Real Madrid midfield 5 years from now when he's nearly 44.
Another remarkable performance from him even in pre-season, yet he doesn't look like he's at the tail end, that he's coming towards the end. He looked incredibly sprightly, as you said, then in the first half. You'd think he'd need that running power and legs around him, which I'm sure will come, but it doesn't feel that the time is now.
Well, he's got the younger legs of Tchouaméni, generally speaking, and Jude Bellingham. 2 pretty decent players to come back into that midfield equation. Camavinga hasn't been playing in there, but did. Can. Very well indeed.
That was a big surprise for me during the Euros, Camavinga's lack of game time. Having watched him in that Champions League final, I thought he was the best player on the pitch. Probably didn't get the headlines,
because he's not really that sort of player, is he? He's not a headline grabber.
No, I thought he was incredible.
But if Ancelotti picks him every week and plays him out of position every week, even then, he must be doing something right. It's Lorenzo Aguado, by the way, who came on for Madrid. Chelsea just can't get the ball at the moment. That's a confident strike, isn't it? Jurgensen did not have to worry too much about that. It was Mario Martin who hit it.
Probably the only place it could have gone. I think he was blocked out the other side. Snapshot, didn't miss by much. Lovely exchange.
He's a youngster who's got his work cut out to get into that Real Madrid midfield. He did play 3 times last season, Mario Martin.
Dewsbury Hall again, great spatial awareness. Plays quite wide on that right-hand side, or certainly looks to receive the ball there. Starts infield and knows when to time it, the angle to receive it at. They can get on the ball. Likewise to Nkunku probably in the first half, get themselves available, able to get turned.
Madrid so nearly snuck away there as Real turn on the style. Badiashile brings that to a pleasing end, nice and swiftly. 5 minutes of stoppage time for Chelsea to end the US tour with a draw here. Good take, Dewsbury Hall. Nice shimmy from Mudryk and an accurate pass back to him from Enzo Fernandez. That's a really good challenge. Fofana did get there. Looked like he was half pulling out, but he crucially did get the toe in first. Noni Madueke, I think, has got his call this time that he wanted.
This was great, Mudryk, brilliant play. Again, that final little bit, just evading him. Could he have just taken it on his left side?
Raul Asensio with the well-timed tackle. Yeah, this is a promising position, isn't it? And there's a whole cluster at the back of the D making their way, and maybe 1 or 2 will just stay there. Off you pop, Fran Garcia. Now then. The roll back to Dewsbury Hall's on here. Maybe the percentage ball is looking for Badiashile, Colwell and co. And Fofana who's in there, and he was a real threat the other night, getting his head onto things. Celtic game. Madueke, oh dear, no.
Just tired a little, I would say, last 10 minutes, not been able to beat his marker down that flank, and that was a tired cross. Just at a time in the game when Chelsea probably looking the more likely to get the next goal if there is to be one.
Next to the former Chelsea Rudiger there, Brahim Diaz, who part of that Manchester City youth team that kept losing Youth Cup finals to Chelsea. Well, looking for a third here, and Badiashile, not for the first time tonight, is actually pretty well positioned there.
Nice to time pass and movement. Fofana did well actually. He gets beaten by the run initially, but then he recovers well, just to apply a little bit of pressure, meaning that the strike can't come in on goal. Garcia looking at
That overlapping run having followed his pass. Pretty deep now. 90 seconds. It's Real's clock to play with. Caicedo's been passed around. Suddenly it's 4v4. There's Fofana, Real Madrid corner, and they're keeping the ball when we need it, Sam.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was just going to be cut back towards the D, where Real Madrid player was completely unopposed, opted to try and swing it in beyond that Chelsea back line. Well defended, that's Fofana, a couple of times in quick succession.
That's a very, very tough header from there. Casa with it.
Slightly behind him. I think when it was in flight he would have fancied it, but he just had to try and readjust.
Wonder how the legs are feeling for the likes of Wesley Fofana. To be in regular training day in, day out, and now play 3 games of football in a couple of weeks, which is more than he's played in the last year before it. That's such a great young